Assalamu alaikum, everyone. I'm seeing folks are joining. I have about 8 right now. We'll give it about a minute for everyone to join, and we'll get started. Okay, I think we can get started. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Again, this is Mohammed Gulrez. I'm a communications lead for MCC Sunday School. Thank you to all the parents for joining the parents webinar. Before we get started, just a few logistics items. During the webinar, you will not be able to unmute. So we will have an option to ask the questions. Use the Q&A option on Zoom to ask the questions. We will collate the questions together, and towards the end of the webinar, we will address those questions. This meeting is being recorded, so don't worry about taking notes or taking screenshots. We will share the slide deck and the recording as well after the meeting. Here's the agenda for today. Brother Zubair will cover principal's message. Sister Shaima is not available today because of some personal reasons. We'll cover the results of the fall parent survey. Brother Nabil will cover that. And we'll have Brother Zubair and Brother Nabil cover the enrollment process for the upcoming school year. And Brother Rafiq will cover the parent volunteering. And towards the end of the session, I'll help facilitate the Q&A. With that, I'll pass it over to Brother Zubair.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum and good morning, parents. Our principal, Sister Shama, is unavailable, so I'm covering for her. My name is Zubair. So I want to kick off by welcoming you back to the second term here at MCC Sunday School. We are already into the second month of the new year, and I hope things are going well for you and your families. I want to also sincerely thank all of our parents for demonstrating your confidence in our Sunday school by enrolling your kids here. We had a very successful first term, which we wrapped up in December, thanks to the support of parents like you. In particular, I want to recognize the parents who continuously volunteer their time for our volunteering initiatives. So we truly appreciate it. I think we had one parent who volunteered more than 42 hours in the first term. So that was quite amazing. So thank you and Jazakallah for your efforts. I also want to thank all the parents who made time to participate in our one-to-one parent-teacher conferences at the end of last term. Hearing your perspectives and feedback is invaluable for us, so please keep that feedback coming. Many parents participated in our survey last term. We are very grateful for all the praise and critique that you shared through your detailed responses. We will be reviewing those results today. And as we work to implement your suggestions, please join us. Help us implement your suggestions. And of course, keep the feedback coming. And finally, I want to remind parents that please be mindful of the key enrollment dates, which we'll cover today. Share them with your friends or who might be interested in joining or admitting their children here. And we count on your support to continue to spread the word on the admission process. So with that, I'll hand over to Brother Nabil.
Thank you, Brother Zubair. Nabil Sandhu, I am the treasurer with MCC Sunday School. Just a reminder before we get started, please keep using Q&A. Don't wait till the end of the prepared remarks. As we're flipping through the slides, we would want to see your questions coming in. So first of all, we would like to express our profound gratitude to 113 parents who took precious time out of your busy schedule to fill out the fall survey. Really appreciate that. So we just want to move to the next slide where I want to acknowledge the fact that the parent survey is not just another activity on the school calendar. The school administration is genuinely curious to understand what's on top of your mind. We don't only look at the Likert scale for statistical understanding, but as Brother Zubair said, we take time and attention to go through each and every comment of 156 we received as part of the survey. So I would take you to the next slide where it's the high-level synopsis. To set the stage, our questions had a Likert psychometric scale of 1 through 7, with 7 being extremely satisfied, and we consider rating 5 through 7 as the high band or overall positive. So going anti-clockwise, so the top left chart, we have seen a consistent trend where parents are primarily interested to send their children to Sunday school to learn Islamic education and keep them in the company of other Muslim peers. So no surprises here. I was even thinking, is that do we need to ask this question, because we have not seen any deviation in this in the answers to this question over the past few years. In terms of the bottom left bar chart, we really thank you for showing your confidence and trust on the school. That's a huge feat that 96% of the respondents have rated the school experience very high. On the bottom right, the same trend seen on the satisfaction over the communication by the school administration. And then last, which is the top right visual, that is showing the overall satisfaction, areas of satisfaction and areas of improvement for the school. So I would go into more detail in a separate slide later. So moving to the next slide, you can see that there is an overall increase in the number of respondents compared to last year, which is very good, because that is one of the proxies for me for the overall engagement level of parents. Again, we are wholeheartedly thankful for your time and attention to fill out the survey. Moving here, overall experience. So, this is something which is amazing, because you would see here is that the overall experience with the school has improved from 86.5% last year to a whopping 96% on the Likert scale values, which is 5 through 7, that band. And I personally believe that success does not come by chance. I would like to thank our dedicated scholars, our teachers, our TAs, a front office, a part-time and full-time volunteers, and admin staff for curating this experience for you. Moving to the next slide, this is clearly an area for us to watch, the digital tools and technology. So the high score band, 5 through 7 on the Likert scale, has slightly dipped year on year from 78% to 75.3% in 2023. So we would delve in slightly more detail when we share areas of improvement on this one. Moving to the admin staff, this one is communication, right? Okay, so high score band has improved year on year from 91.3% to 93% in 2023. So baseline is already pretty high here, and any incremental improvement shows trend towards the right direction. So thanks again for your appreciation, and jazakallah for that. Admin staff, 92%. Again, thanks for showing your trust and confidence. We always are pretty hungry to hear how can we further improve your experience with the admin staff as well. So the next slide, I would be spending some time here. So it's an eye chart. Please, you don't have to read through the slide. I would explain to you everything. But before I do that, a little bit of preamble is that there are 3 distinct phases of conducting a survey. So the first phase is, of course, the audacity to go and ask for the feedback, which implies that we recognize that we have a pretty good understanding of our operations, but we must have some blind spots. We do not want to put ourselves in your shoes, but deeply want to understand perspective from your very vantage point. Then we move to phase two, which is having the humility to be receptive to your feedback and perspective. This means that we do not have the fallacy, or we do not want to have that fallacy that since the statistical scores which you have seen in the previous slides are pretty high, does not mean we ignore some areas of improvement, especially embedded in your comments. And the last and most important phase is, what do we do with that feedback? So this is the phase where there is a verb in it. We need to act, which is manifested that our scores are improving on a year-on-year basis. And what do I mean by that is that we are building our muscle and we are practicing to deconstruct your feedback, identify areas of improvement, and implement next steps with a very growth mindset. So the tree map, how to read that thing is that what we have done is we have looked at your feedback, especially the feedback which has got some areas of improvement for us. And they are clustered by categories in terms of the number of comments. So those numbers in these boxes are basically number of comments, distinct, individual, unique comments. The top area of improvement is Canvas or digital tools, and you have seen that in the prior slide as well. We recognize we need to explore simplifying the overall experience of the tool and test some of the common scenarios with some select parents. Other areas include proactive communication from teachers on PTC calendar scheduling. There were some comments around that. The scorecard format, and then periodic student progress updates. So that alignment, how often or how frequently a teacher would be sharing the progress with the parents. In terms of Quranic curriculum, there were some comments there, is that has been carefully curated under the guidance of renowned scholars, Qari Amar and Imam Tahir, to complement recitation training received outside of school. And then on the curriculum, general curriculum, it's a general curriculum designed for an average student. There were some a mixed bag here. Some of them were saying it's slow, some of them saying it's too aggressive. So this is designed for an average student. And we really want to explore, with our teachers and encourage them to add reflection topic relevant to the chapter covered. So this is an area is that content is one thing, but how do you deliver the content and how do you engage with the students relevant to their age? That is an important area as well. But we are very receptive. And I want to make sure that this is not just a once and done thing when it comes to parent feedback. This is an exercise, but you're always feel welcome to just walk into our office when you come to drop or pick your students and talk to us on any improvement. This is not a batch process. We want to make it a continuous improvement thing. With this, I'll hand back over to Brother Zubair, but just a nudge that please keep sending questions based on what you're hearing as we're speaking.
Okay, thank you, Brother Nabil. So, folks, I'm not seeing any questions in Q&A. Hopefully, you'll have questions about this topic. So we'll see. So I'll be going over the enrollment process. This should be familiar to most families, unless this is your first year. But in either case, please pay attention from about what I'm about to share. So if you go to the next slide, I want to start by making some terms and definitions clear. For enrollment, we classify families in 3 categories. Let me explain that. So the folks on this call are basically all current families. You're currently enrolled in the 2023-24 school year. So you're a current family. While the process is straightforward for you, we do have families that have not followed the process in the past, and we have had to unfortunately give their spots to waitlist families. So please pay attention to what you're expected to do. It's very simple, but if you don't pay attention, you will miss the dates. Legacy families are families who have been enrolled at least once prior to the current school year and want to return. So you may have friends who may want to come back. And new and waitlist families are ones who have never enrolled at Sunday school. You may also have friends and family who may belong in this category. So please make sure you sort of spread the word for what I'm about to share. And if you have any questions about what I'm sharing, please add it to the Q&A. Everything I covered today is posted on the school website, and you can always go back to it later. So if you go to the next slide, please. Here's a rough timeline, right? Basically, the enrollment process starts now. and it runs until May 26th, which is actually the last day of school. So what do you need to do now? You need to make sure your data is correct in the parent portal. What I mean by that is you need to have an up-to-date payment information, student information, and especially if you, the current families, want to add a new student to your profile. Maybe you have a child who's not ready to come to Sunday school. You need to add that information. I have seen people add students with a date of birth of 2087. That makes no sense. So please don't do that. We may miss you. The system will filter you out saying, okay, cannot enroll. So please help us avoid that situation. Also, we've had situation where the card on file was not up to date, and then the parent was struggling last minute to update it. Uh, please avoid that problem. Make sure your payment is up to date. Only you can process the payment. We cannot process it for you. You authorize the payment, not us. So please make sure everything is correct. Now, the next milestone is the March 10th date. This is very, very important because this is the last day for you to add a new student to the record. The reason I'm sharing this is that date is when we start planning Quranic assessments. So if you're adding a child to the system who's going to be in grade 1 through 8 and will require Quranic assessment, you must add them. So again, we've had returning families or current families where we have denied enrollment because we did not have opportunity to do Quranic assessment. Right? We only have so many leads who can take care of Quranic assessment. So if you don't add your child in time, we will have to exclude them. Then Ramadan starts around March 10th, so April 10th. So there's no work happening. We're all, trying to take benefits and blessings of Ramadan. But when we come back, we then commence Quranic assessment. So it's going to run during the dates of April 14 and 21st, depending on how many new students we have and how do we stagger them. So this will apply to only new students. So if you do not have a new child coming to Sunday school, you're probably good until April 21st. Okay. However, starting May 5th, you need to take action, which is that we will enable payment for you and you need to log into the portal, parent portal, and make a payment. It takes no more than 2 minutes if you've taken care of all your data. And come May 12th at 12 p.m. Pacific noon, we will close enrollment. So if you log in at 12:01 a.m. or 12:01 p.m. on May 12th, you will not be able to process payment. So please make sure you set a reminder for May 5th to say, okay, I need to go and make payment. And we will send you a few reminders, but there's only so much we can do. We can't track you down. So please help us, partner with us, take some responsibility, and make sure, because it's very difficult to actually say no to you, especially when you've been sent all the reminders and you have probably missed out on updating your data or making sure you logged in time. You basically let the timeline pass. So please set reminders. So if I have two asks of you from this presentation is, after this call, open your phones, whatever you use for planning your time and calendar, set a reminder for May 5th. And the second ask is, please spread the word with your friends and family who either want to return to Sunday school or want to attend Sunday school, so they know the timelines and the dates. And again, please leave any questions in Q&A. I don't see any yet. So I'm going to hand over to Brother Nabil to cover the fee structure.
Thank you, Brother Zubair. So first thing first, as you can see this statement at the top, MCC has a standing policy that financial need should not hold a person back from receiving religious knowledge at our community center, period. So that's an important thing, is that if for whatever reason you think that you're not capable to pay the dues, we reach out to us. We would be direct you to a form, financial assistance form. It is taken care with great secrecy, and then we would be able to entertain you. Having said that, MCC Sunday School is a non-profit entity determined to provide quality Quranic and Islamic education in a conducive environment. We carefully manage our cash in and outflow while maintaining high standards of operations. You may recall, some of you who were with us during pandemic, considering we could afford to scale back our operating cost while not being on site, we did revise down our fee. But now, under the given circumstances, with careful examination, unfortunately, it is impossible for us to maintain our existing operations with the same fee structure. One of the main additions is the on-site security, which was, I think, needed. That was a call of the time, and then general increases by our various vendors. So this slide actually tabulates a revision to the fee structure, which is effective 2024-2025 academic year. So the first category is per student fee would be revised upward from $150 to $200 annually for the members. So that's per student. If you've got 2 students, that is $50 increment times 2. So you have to pay $100 more. Per family refundable volunteer deposit would be increased from $150 to $200 annually. That can be reclaimed back once family, and I'm not saying each parent, it's the family completes minimum of 15 hours of volunteering. The third row here is that in order to maintain academic cohesion, school has a strict policy of only enrolling students at the start of the academic year. At this time, the number of waitlist students exceeds those already enrolled. So that's a precarious situation. That's very worrisome. We want to ensure there are no tentative enrollments and to leave ample space for our new families. Hence, once enrollment is made, there would be no refunds. If you make a cancellation, we would not be able to process a refund. And again, this fee structure has been revised on the website. These slides would be shared with you. And at the time of enrollment, as Brother Zubair had been sharing, when you go onto the portal, these would be reflected. These numbers would be reflected. But again, as I started the slide, I want to conclude the slide with the fact that we have a policy that we should not hold back a person back from receiving religious knowledge at our community center because of any financial need. So reach out to us if you have any needs related to that. With this, I would hand back to Brother Rafiq.
Assalamu alaikum and good morning, everyone. I'm Rafiq. I'm the Parent Volunteering Administration Lead for MCC Sunday School. And good morning and happy to see you all. I was hoping to see a lot more people. I see 44 of us here, 44 of the parents here, but I was hoping that we'll see a lot more people here. Today, I will talk about 2 things. Primarily, I'll just give you a quick update on how parent volunteering is progressing and how it is helping us to ensure that the smooth operations and the security of our kids. Secondly, I'll also touch upon a key policy which was introduced last year, which is the 0-hour policy, and what actions that you can take if you are impacted by that policy. If you can go to the next slide. First of all, on how we are doing today, I want to keep reminding everyone that MCC Sunday School is a completely volunteer-run organization. So that means including the administration staff, the teachers, and the TAs, everybody, including the parent volunteer. Everybody is a volunteer here. So it's completely run by volunteers. So that warrants the need for more volunteers. Now, as of today, which is the first term plus the 1 month after, we have a lot of volunteering hours this year compared to last year. So thank you for all the parent volunteers who have come forward and helping. And I'll share something which one of the parentiers actually shared with me, Court, that the parent said, this is not as difficult as I thought. Volunteering is not as difficult as I thought. In fact, it is really therapeutic. This is one of the parents who shared with me about the volunteering experience. The volunteering experience. So I think so far it is going great. So we have close to more than 100 plus families who have volunteered so far this year, and that's great. One of the things that I'll call out, and I'll talk a little bit in detail, is there are 29 families who have not volunteered last year as well as this year till date. So we'll talk about that. That's the populations will be impacted by the 0-hour policy. Other than that, I mean, for the upcoming term, like you've heard earlier, so we have some breaks coming up for the Ramadan, but otherwise we have 10 more Sundays in the plan. And we need all the help from you to continue the momentum that you have today in terms of volunteering and making sure that all our kids are safe and the smooth operations of the Sunday school. Next slide. 0-hour policy, just to remind on what this policy was, right? This was introduced last year. What this said was, if you have 2 consecutive years of 0 volunteering, meaning no single hours you have not committed, you have not completed any volunteering hours last academic year, which was 22-23, and the current one, 23-24, if you have not done any volunteering hours, your kid will be removed from enrolling into next academic year, which is 24-25. That's the policy. Now, so far, fast forward sitting here today, when we look back at last 2 years, the list of families who have not volunteered, and this year till date who have not volunteered yet. So we have 29 families today, like I said earlier, right? And I personally, and I'm very sincere in saying that I personally don't want any of our current parents, to be impacted by this policy. So I would like you to take the following actions. 1, please go to the portal and sign up. There are volunteering events and needs available between now and end of the school, which is May 26th. Please go into the portal and sign up. Look for available events. You will see some of those events is already taken, but there are still a lot more events which requires volunteering. So please do sign up, and do that sign up before March 1st. The reason I say that is March 1st, a list will be pulled and handed off to the enrollment team, and they're going to use that for excluding those parents who have not completed or not committed, not signed up any volunteering hours for the rest of the year. So it's very important. So you do go into the portal, sign up before March 1st. There should be at least 1 volunteering hour, which is, you can say, let me take an example. I can go in today and sign up for April 26th. Say traffic AM, 1.5 hours. I'm excluded from the policy because I've made a commitment. And I'm sure we all are adults, and when we make a commitment, we'll try all our best to complete that. So the requirement is that once you commit, you complete. So that is my sincere ask. Please do that ASAP, and make sure that you are not impacted by this policy. One question that I always get is, there are permanent volunteers, permanent TAs in the system. Are they required to do volunteering? They are already, if one of the parents are doing either a permanent TA or teacher, you don't need to do additional volunteering events. You may leave that for other parents to do, to serve that hours as volunteering. Because if there are teachers and TAs who are already doing it, you are actually fulfilling the requirement here. So you don't need additional volunteering hours to commit to. You may have questions. Please do put your questions in the chat, and we'll answer that today. As well as, you can always come back to the Sunday school and ask for more help if that is needed. The one more point that I'll call out is, if you have any difficulty, and I'll say that, when you're saying difficulty, it's not like, we both are busy, both the parents are busy, we can't do that. That's not an excuse. But if you have something else which is preventing you from committing this any hours between now and end of the year, please come and talk to us. Please send an email to volunteering@sundayschool, mccsundayschool.org, or come to the front desk and talk to us. That's my sincere ask here. Let's go to the next slide. This is a refresher. If you are sitting there and thinking, what are the activities? This is all available in Parent Portal. I'll also just walk you through how to sign up in the next slide. But in Parent Portal, there is a list of activities which you can actually just review and see what fits in your schedule and try and do that. But these are the 10 activities which is there every day, right? And I always see traffic AM, classroom setup, which are kind of early on activities in the day. We don't have enough volunteering. So if you are going ahead and looking for, try to look for classroom setup or tear down or traffic, check all these activities. But if you are specifically looking for something which is based on the schedule, you can look at this activity. There is a chart at the bottom right, which kind of shows the spread of these activities on a time scale. Next slide. The sign up is simple. If you all should have access to Parent Portal. Once you go into Parent Portal, on your left hand menu, there is Manage Volunteering menu option. If you click on that, you will see the screen which is on the first screen, which is showing on the left hand side here. And then you can add an event and select whichever event that you want. Like the 10 events that you saw in the previous slides, you can select one of them and then you can sign up yourself. Again, if you have difficulty in that, please come and talk to us. That is all I had for today. And just to summarize, I think the main thing that I want you all to look at is if you are receiving, you will receive an email if you are impacted by the 0-hour policy. Like I said, there are 29 families, and if you are one of them who are receiving that email, please go ahead and look at your go to Parent Portal and please sign up today for any activity between now and May 26th, and make that commitment before March 1st. And if you are having difficulty, come and talk to us. Even difficulty in terms of signing up or difficulty in terms of doing this because of a genuine reason, come and talk to us. That's all I have to say. Thank you, Jazakallah khair, and I'll turn it back to Brother Gulrez.
Thank you very much, Brother Rafiq. I have some questions on the Q&A, so let's start with those. And thank you so much for the parents to add questions. Please keep adding them. The first one I have is, I want to confirm adding an additional child for us, which is a current family, will have them automatically enrolled, not in the wait list. Brother Zubair, would you like to take that one?
Yeah, so if you add an additional child, we need to first determine if they need Quranic assessment. If they need Quranic assessment, let's say they don't need Quranic assessment, then we will just add them to your payment charges, and you will pay and you'll be done. If your child needs Quranic assessment, then the child needs to pass the Quranic assessment. And only then will we add the charges and you make the payment. So if your child needs Quranic assessment and doesn't pass the Quranic assessment, then we may not enroll them.
Thank you, Brother
Brother Zubair, just one question. Do you want to elaborate the criteria for needing Quranic assessment as well?
Yeah, so it's posted on the website. Your child needs to be in grades 1 through 8 for Quranic assessment. So if the child you're adding is pre-K, KG, or high school, they don't need Quranic assessment. But we do need you to add that child before March 10th. Because if you add them like last minute, then we may not be able to add them, right? The reason we need you to add them by March 10th is because we need to plan Quranic assessment, and we also need to plan how many spots we can offer to waitlist families. So when you come in last minute saying, oh, I have 1K, 2K, or whatever, I think it's a little unfair to waitlist families, which is why we need you to act sooner rather than later.
Thank you, Brother Zubair. I think the next question you can possibly take as well. Can students be re-evaluated for Quranic assessment? My kids have a Quranic teacher outside of MCC that helps with Quran and Tajweed, and I would like them to be placed in the right level for the next year if possible.
So for the currently enrolled students, the current Quranic teacher will make assessment for promotion to next year. So that should just happen automatically. We don't need external assessment or reassessment. But if you think your child needs to skip a grade or 2 grades or something like that, then please write to us at info, and we will look at your specific case and discuss it.
Thank you, Brother Zubair. Next question I have is, will my currently enrolled child need to sign up for Quranic assessments?
No, your currently enrolled child will be assessed by their current Quranic teacher.
Thank you. If my card is on file, can this be charged automatically during enrollment?
No, your card will not be charged automatically. You need to log in and make the payment. The reason for this is we do not want to process payment on your behalf and have to deal with any refunds or changes. So we will just place the charges and you need to just log in and make the payment. It takes like less than 2 minutes, which is why please set a reminder for May 5th to go do that on that day.
Thank you. Brother Rafiq, I think you can take the next one. It seems most parents who volunteer are unclear of their duties. Also, some tasks have too many volunteers. For example, 6 people doing inside security and are often seen not doing anything and playing with their phones. How are we addressing this?
That's a great question. I think I'll take this opportunity to just also share, some of the do's and don'ts here. The event descriptions for all the events that we have out there, which you saw earlier, which is whether traffic or security, there are specific instructions on website as well as in the parent portal about what those activities are. What is the roles and responsibilities of each of those each of those events. So please review that. And these are available when you come in and to sign in. Those things are printed out and you can actually read through them if you haven't had an opportunity to read that. Now, the count of volunteers, which is for each of these events, these are all carefully arrived at. For example, the specific question around six security volunteers. These are needed for the doors as well as the hallways, which has to be monitored during the school hours. So the number of volunteers as well as the roles and descriptions are defined clearly. So please do review them before you come into the school or before you come in for the volunteering. And if you haven't had a chance, you can actually review them at the desk. That's all printed out there, or you can ask us. Now, there has been a concern and sitting on the phone, that is actually not acceptable. So whenever we see, we kind of we can only encourage, and the parents will have to adhere to it, that when you are doing something, when you're doing an activity, you should be paying attention to it, not sitting on the phone. We've had instances where security volunteers or the yard volunteers are actually standing there but are on the phone, which is not really helping, because the whole purpose of volunteers standing there and watching kids is to watch, just make sure that the kids are not running out into the parking lot and everything. So that time somebody is sitting on the phone, it is not helpful. So there are folks who are reminding them about it. We try to just encourage them not to do it, but we need your help as parents to educate each other, or maybe if there is something that you see, you can remind them or let us know, so that we can actually remind those parents not to be on the phone while they are actually doing volunteering.
Thank you, Brother Rafiq. You're a popular person today. I have a bunch of next questions for you. So while I have your attention, next one is, I'm on the portal and looking at available events. I'm not seeing anything. Will you be updating this?
So if you are looking at it now, and you can look at all the way through May 26th across all activities. And if you are still not seeing activities which are available to you, drop me an email, or drop volunteering@mccssundayschool.org an email if you're not able to find a slot. But what I do recommend is look across all activities. There are 10 activities between now and May 26th, which is 10 Sundays. So there should be hundreds of activities So you should be able to find it. If you're looking specifically for full day volunteer, I can tell you that it may have all been taken. But there should be activities like, like I said, traffic. We don't get enough people. Tear down. We don't get enough people. So please do look for those which are outside of full day volunteering. And if you are still not able to do it, if you're not able to find anything, please drop an email and to volunteering at Sunday School, mccsundaySchool.org.
Thank you, Brother Rafiq. The next one is where is 15 hours per family coming in the picture compared to the 1 hour requirement? I believe what the parent is referring to is the minimum 1 hour commitment for 0 hour policy. Maybe you can elaborate the difference.
Yeah, good question. So the 15 hours, so we have two requirement there, right? So we have minimum 15 hours. This is for your deposit. So if you complete 15 hours minimum, you can claim your deposit. You are not forfeiting your deposit of $150 per family. So that is the 15-hour minimum. The 0 hour policy is basically there is an overlap with this policy, but basically what that's saying is if you do 1 hour, you are not impacted by, for the rest, not 1 hour, that is just probably a workaround, but we do require, we do encourage you to do 15 hours. But if you do 1 hour, you are not impacted by the 0 hour policy, because 0 hour policy looks at if you have done 0 hours last year and this year, then you will be removed from the third year. And I'll tell you the rationale behind this. And this is based on, we didn't want to be too aggressive in saying that, if you have not done 0 hours first year, then you are completely out for next year, right? The rationale behind having this 1 hour also is once you come in, just like I was quoting earlier, once you come in, do that. A lot of parents have come back and said, hey, because there is that icebreaker, or at least that's the starter difficulty where parents were reluctant to come in because they didn't know what it is, what they need to do. But if you come in for 1 hour at least, I've seen a lot of parents keep coming back again and again because they realize that this is rewarding. This is not as difficult as they thought, right? So that is where that 1 hour policy, not 1 hour policy, 0 hour policy, where you do 1 hour, you kind of get, excluded from the 0 hour policy impact. I hope that clarifies. If you have further questions, please do any follow-up questions here or talk in person in school.
Thank you, Brother Rafiq. I think Brother Zubair, you wanted to add something? I saw you raise your hand.
Yeah, it's very simple. You want your money back, do minimum 15 hours. You do not want to be removed from enrollment, make sure you volunteer something.
Thank you, Brother Zubair. I have a related question with volunteering. Why do we need security volunteers when we have spent money to hire a security agency? Brother Rafiq, you want to take that?
Yeah. So security agency, they are primarily watching the surroundings. So they are not inside the school, and that is by design. So we don't want the securities walking inside our masjid and things like that. So they are actually watching the surroundings. We have two paid security which are actually, they are monitoring outside. But the security volunteers are required at the doors and inside, like I said, the monitoring hallways and things like that, because we do want to make sure that students are not hanging out in the class during the recess time. Kids are not hanging out in the hallways during the class time and things like that. So the security volunteers, our parent volunteers, are primarily taking care of the masjid and inside of the masjid and school, whereas the external volunteers, external paid security, they are monitoring the outside.
Thank you, Brother Rafiq. If the students become TA, does that cover 15 hours requirement for the family? Brother Rafiq, maybe you can take that as well.
It doesn't. The TAs, the students become TA it will help them with the volunteering hours for their school, because most of the schools will require them to do some community hours. So it counts towards that, but not count towards the parent volunteering.
Okay, thank you. Brother Zubair, I think you can take the next one. I added my child last year and she did not pass the Quranic assessment. Do I need to do anything on my family account? Do I need to wait for the Quranic assessment?
Yeah. So no action until we contact you for Quranic assessment. So your child will need to redo the Quranic assessment, and we will contact you on when to show up.
Thank you, Brother Zubair. I think next one you can potentially take as well. My son is already enrolled in Sunday school in current session. Do we need to enroll him again for the next year?
Yes, you need to take some action. Please go to the website. The first action you have to take is make sure your information is up to date. Have a card that we can actually charge. The second thing is you need to, on May 5th, log in and make the payment. So these are actions you need to take. Like, we don't just automatically re-enroll. Those are the two things you need to do at minimum. But please go read the website, and if anything is unclear, please write to us.
Thank you, brother. I think I have one more here. Is there any discussion regarding pizza distribution for the kids? If funds is an issue, can we ask the parents to make donations? The kids would really enjoy this.
Yeah, so I think there's some historic reasons for why we are not serving food. I'll keep it very simple, but we can discuss this offline if you want to come see us. So when we choose to bring any kind of food, we need to look at the diverse population we have at the Sunday school. And that includes both these individual students and parents. So I'll just be very candid with you. I know this is being recorded, but candor is probably more appropriate. There may be parents who think pizza is unhealthy. There may be parents who think pizza is fine, but what cheese are you using? There may be some parents who's like, how was the bread processed? Because my child has certain allergies. And I can go on and on. So given that we've had to deal with these issues for like many, many years, a few years ago, we decided not to serve food. You are more than welcome to send food with your child, which they can eat in the break. So we please encourage you to send food that you are comfortable, that you think is appropriate for your child, and also appropriate for the child to consume, right? So we're asking you to take responsibility rather than the Sunday school taking responsibility for food distribution. I hope you understand. And if my answer did not satisfy you or anyone else on that call, by the way, please come see us at Sunday school.
Thank you, Brother Zubair. I think the next one is related and seems to be more a comment than a question, but I'll go through that. Yes, some food option would be great on site. It's lunchtime when they get dismissed. Brother Nabil, you want to take that?
Yes, thank you. So basically, we are part of MCC Masjid. We don't have resources to have something available as part of, providing food. I know MCC as a whole has some plans in the future. We would follow them, whatever they make available at the facility in terms of any food items.
Thank you, Brother Nabil. I see some more comments related to food. There's one, some food trucks on site with a question mark. Is that an option?
Yeah, these are all logistical things. I would take that one. I know we do stuff during year-end event and others. Bringing food truck. If we don't have critical mass, they don't show up. At this point in time, as I said, as part of the overall masjid ecosystem, we are part of that. If they make such decision, we'll just comply with that. That's just not on our radar at this point in time to make any food options available. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Brother Nabil. I see one more comment. I'll read through that. So it would be very helpful for the volunteers if we have care or photo or instructions that tell us how many chairs are needed. I don't know what the care here means. For example, in the conference room, how the KG area needs to be set up, how many backjacks really needed on the other side of the conference. I think it's a generic comment about having more information. Brother Rafiq, you want to take that?
Yeah, I like that comment. Maybe it's something that we will think about. I think what the parent is saying here is, there are instructions, written instructions on the website, but in the classrooms, if the way it needs to be organized, that is posted as a picture or somewhere on the wall, that would help the volunteers to set it up accurately. That's what I understood that comment is talking about, and that's a valid suggestion. We'll consider that. I mean, I think it requires some drawings and all that stuff to be pasted on these classes, and we don't do a lot of classes. Most of the classes are already all set up. We don't share that with masjid, but the classrooms which require setups, we can think about having some charts or pictures, at least showing how many chairs are needed, how it needs to be set up and things like that. So good comment. Thank you.
Brother. I don't have any more open questions. I think we've addressed everything. Brother Zubair, you have your hand raised.
Yeah, so the parent who asked that question, this is an amazing comment. Thank you. I would highly encourage you to take the lead and help organize us. Because if you see something that can be made better, just make it better. And let us know how we can help you. We will follow your lead.
Thank you, Brother Zubair. I have a question here that says, how are you managing class size? Sometimes it is hard to move in the classroom. I don't know who wants to take that. Brother Zubair, you want to?
Yeah, I can attempt this. So what we do is we have a physical space that we're working with, so that we can change. So every room has a certain capacity that it can take, right? And what we do is, depending on the current distribution of our students in classes. So imagine we took in like a big class in 4th grade, and as it's moving forward, the 5th grade is going to be bigger than last year. Then 6th grade is going to be bigger than the previous year. So that collection of students is moving through the school years, right? So what we have to do, we have to move them around to make sure we can accommodate. And not always, but sometimes and occasionally, maybe there'll be two or three classes. What I mean by 2 or 3 rooms, where we are sort of pushing the limit of the room. I think some of this we can address by how we place the chairs and use the room. But if you feel that there's a specific class where you feel things are like extra tight, again, please come talk to us or send us an email with which classroom it is and which grade it is, and we will try to address it. So thank you for noticing that, but just want to explain to you why that may be happening.
Yeah, and I think the broader concern here was the overall. One of the things you might have seen is that we stress tested how quickly we can evacuate our facility last Sunday. That was a very successful fire drill, and that takes into account is that if there is some congestion in some of the classes, how does that impact a bigger concern of safety of the student? But thanks for the comment.
Thank you, Brother Nabil. I have a question around volunteering again, Brother Rafiq. You can probably take that. Is there an option where 2 parents volunteer at the same time?
Absolutely. 2 parents, they can volunteer at the same time. You just need to sign up for the activity and show up.
Thank you. Okay, there's another question here. What guidance are you providing teachers on sharing the world events with relation to kids' age? I don't know who wants to take that, Brother Zubair.
I can take that. So all our teachers are volunteers, right? We do provide them some guidance on what we want them to cover. So the common denominator is that stick to the curriculum, right? However, we understand that teachers are individuals. They are impacted by world events and what's happening around them, and they may choose to bring it into their teaching. But we're not setting any expectations. We do tell teachers to be mindful of what topic they're bringing, and whether it's age appropriate or how they share it, to be mindful. And to be candid, we've had issues where sometimes teachers have said something which some parents thought was inappropriate, and we've accepted that feedback, and we've sort of like reminded the teachers. So given all the possibilities there, we've tried to, the only policy we have is like, please make sure you stick to the curriculum and cover the curriculum. And then beyond that, we are asking teachers to use best judgment. We're not giving them any indication that, hey, something is happening in the Middle East and you must weave it into your curriculum. We do not provide any guidance like that. Yes, and also a parent just said that, Imam Tahir will also bring it up. So assembly is typically the forum where we are letting like the scholars who come in to choose what they want to discuss, and teachers can stick to the curriculum.
Thank you, Brother Zubair. I'm just seeing if any new question pops up. Looks like there's nothing more. Okay. Cool. I think we can close this session. If you do have questions afterwards, please do reach out to us, and we'll do our best to answer those. I wanted to thank all the parents for taking the time today to join us. There's a question just posted. Will a recording be made available? Yes, we will share the recording and the deck as well. And I would like to thank the panelists as well for sharing all the extremely, extremely useful content. Thank you, and thank you, everyone. Jazakallah khair.
Thank you, Brother Gurrez, facilitating that. Appreciate it.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone.